Novak Djokovic has no right to participate in the Australian Open, Marton Foksovic said. Novak Djokovic has no right to compete at the Australian Open, according to the Wimbledon quarter-finalist Marton Fucsovic. The decision to cancel Djokovic's visa was overturned by a judge, but the world number one could still be deported by the Australian Immigration Minister Alex Hawke. It has emerged that Djokovic may have provided false information about his movements before arriving in Melbourne, prompting an investigation by border officials. Djokovic, 34, was granted a medical exemption from COVID-19 vaccination to play the first Grand Slam of the year, but Fucsovics, 29, said the Serbian should not have been allowed to compete. People's health is paramount, and there are rules that were outlined months ago, namely that everyone should vaccinate themselves, and Djokovic didn't, Fucsovic said. From this point of view, I don't think he would have the right to be here. The Hungarian world number 38, who lost to Djokovic in last year's Wimbledon quarterfinals and in the Paris Masters in November, said he was not alone in thinking it unfair that Djokovic could play despite not being vaccinated. Fucsovics told M4 Sport, the Hungarian channel, that news of Djokovic's exemption had received a negative reception among many tennis players. Until his release yesterday, Djokovic had been held in a detention facility in Melbourne, and Nick Kyrgios, who has withdrawn from the Sydney Tennis Classic and could miss the Australian Open after testing positive for COVID, said he was embarrassed by the way Djokovic had been treated by authorities. I feel quite embarrassed as an Australian athlete that's seen what this guy has done for us in the sport, Kyrgios, 26, said on social media. I just don't think it's right how we're handling it, but the media loves to do that, loves to divide, and I don't want this to take away from any of the great results the other Australians are having. Of his positive result, Kyrgios said, I just want to be open and transparent with everyone. The reason I have had to pull out of Sydney is because I tested positive for COVID. I am feeling healthy at the moment with no symptoms. If all goes well, I will see you at the Australian Open. Rafael Nadal branded the drama surrounding Djokovic's medical exemption a circus, but acknowledged that the decision by a judge to overturn the cancellation of his rival's visa was the fairest decision. Whether or not I agree with Djokovic on some things, Justice has spoken and has said that he has the right to participate in the Australian Open, and I think it is the fairest decision to do so, if it has been resolved that way, Nadal, 35, told the Spanish radio station. I wish him the best of luck. Nadal, who holds the men's record with Djokovic and Roger Federer on 20 Grand Slam titles, then joked, on a personal level, I'd much rather he didn't play. He added, it's sport, many interests move around it, on a general level, at an economic, advertising level. Everything is much better when the best can be playing. Djokovic followed the court hearing from the offices of his legal team in Melbourne. After the verdict was reached at about 5:15 p.m., he left in a car 4 hours later and immediately took part in a training session with his support team in the Rod Laver Arena. In documents released by the Federal Circuit and Family Court shortly after the ruling, it was confirmed for the first time that Djokovic had not received a COVID-19 jab. Nadal, on the other hand, is a strong proponent of vaccination.